Let's see. How's our connection? We are connecting.
So good.
We are live. It's time, everybody. We're going to wait for a couple people to come online. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our live training. This is the Dream Interpretation Spiders, Dream Interpretation Snakes live training. Go ahead and say hey in the comments when you show up. Hit that like button. Say hello,
Hey,
Christy
Christy.
Peterson. Always love to see Christy
Yes.
in the house.
So drop a comment below where you're from, because we are kind of going worldwide. So Courtney Rose, what's up? Let us know where you're from. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet before you forget.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll wait for some more people to show up. And yeah.
All right, Aussies are dominating. Aussies always dominate. I swear. I've got to get on a plane and go see you guys. So anyway, dream interpretation snakes, dream interpretation spiders, and the Kundalini Serpent. So these are the three things we're going to be talking about today. Three. Did I say two?
No, you said three.
I said three. That's three.
Yes.
So get your pencils ready. Get all ready, because as usual, we're going to throw
lots of information at you. We will have a Q&A at the end. So
prepare your questions. David has a monitor. So if he's
so if I'm looking over there.
Right. If he's like going like this every once in a while, your questions are actually coming up on that monitor over there, and he'll be interacting with you. So hit him up with the questions, and he will do the best he can as we're chatting. But for the live questions, make sure you save them for the end.
Yes.
So here's why we're doing this live training. There's a lot of conflicting perspectives. We hear a lot of different dream interpretation meanings. Some of them can be from a religious context, especially when it comes to snakes. Some of them can be from psychology. Some of them can be from mysticism. So we're going to kind of clear up how you can tell what kind of a dream you're having and how to interpret it. So conflicting advice can be really tricky to navigate. So you kind of have to know exactly what you're interpreting first before you start jumping to conclusions about what the dream means. So we're going to give you more exact steps and tips to figuring out what kind of dream you're having. So let's see. This is David. If you guys are just joining us and haven't met us before, I'm Heather, and this is David from Zenrose Garden.
.com.
Yes. I'm like Pavlov.
It's
I always say yes.
Right.
I have a PhD in spiritual and natural healing, and one of my specialties is mythology, psychology, dream interpretation. I've always been fascinated by it. And David is a certified master hypnotherapist and metaphysical teacher, and a whole bunch of other stuff. But we like a lot of stuff that has to do with the woogie. Hey, Sunny D in the house. But just, it's going to be fun. So before we get started, I want to make sure that you subscribe and click that bell to turn on notifications, because it can slip your mind. Stay to the end, because we have a bonus tip at the end that we're not going to give you in the course. It's a bonus tip, right? And a special video course that is free for you to download to help you kind of further your work of whatever comes up during this course. Plus, yes, we're doing it again, a $200 crystal giveaway.
Yes. So in order to be a part of that, you've got to wait to the end, and then we'll pick out a number, and the comment that matches that number will be the winner.
So we've picked out a number in our brains, and we're going to count them from the end. If you're commenting and stuff, and we're going to see who's the whatever comment, whatever number, and you might win this amazing. So Septarian is one of the ones that are in this, and also this really awesome crystal lodestone. But there's $200 worth of crystals over here, and it's flipping amazing. I have to tell you, it's over here. I'm buzzing. So let's get started. Let's do it. All right. So why you are here, and we've been getting questions about dreams for the past month. I swear something is in the air. We've been getting questions about snakes and spiders specifically. Kiana. So why you're here is because you're having a hard time interpreting them. Understanding what they mean. And part of this is because we have lost the symbolic
language of the subconscious mind.
If I have trouble with speaking, it's because I have a cough drop in my mouth. My kids came home and gave me a cold, so I'm like trying not to. So anyway, we've lost that language of how to interpret dreams. It used to be something that was known. We talked about our dreams. We kind of lived in this world of language, of the spoken language, awake language, and the dream language. We don't really have that in our culture, so that when we dream with this old symbolic language, we don't understand it, and sometimes it scares us. So there's one, when I was studying dream interpretation, I studied one culture in Malaysia, the Senwa tribe, that they have a dream culture. And it's just when they dream a dream, they'll get together as a tribe and talk about it at breakfast and even act it out and see what that dream is trying to tell you, what kind of fears it's trying to bring to light for you to look at.
And another thing they would also do is they would act out the dream as a tribe, so that the tribe itself would go and act the dream out, so that you could understand and kind of integrate the symbols in the dream and the understanding of the dream.
And it's about integrating the subconscious symbols and understanding them in your conscious awareness. So most of us just write off our dreams like they don't mean anything until scary dreams start to pop up, like snakes and spiders and things that are like, I don't want to dream about that. I want to dream about a hot guy in Brazil on the beach. So that's just me. Yeah. That one would be David. Yeah. Would be a hot guy on the beach. So let me go over some quick general rules about
understanding your context, understanding the context of your dreams.
So before we even get into the dreams themselves, I'm going to give you a quick little rundown of the context, so you can start to think about the dreams you've been having and decide what context you're having them in. There's no right or wrong context. It just has to be your context. So one of the ones is the religious context.
Right.
So if you were raised in any kind of religion, you might have some very powerful symbols, because religions work with symbols that tell you if something is good or evil. So this doesn't mean it's a right or wrong interpretation. It just means this is embedded in your subconscious as a symbol. So it could be from a religious context.
It's basically the entire encyclopedia of your subconscious mind, and that gets developed when we're young all the way through until wherever you're at now.
The second, Christy Peterson, I know you're writing these steps down. I see you in your notebook right now. You're my third eye.
Right.
The second is cultural context.
Right.
How does the culture that you grew up in feel about snakes, spiders, whatever it is? In some cultures, a spider might be considered lucky, or all this kind of stuff. Or your culture might consider it a bad omen. Or it could even be your adopted culture. It might even not even be the culture you grew up with, but the culture that you adopted or started to learn something about, like you became interested in Chinese culture or African culture or North American Indian culture, and so you have adopted those symbols as well.
Right. Anything that you have a strong pull for, you may bring that into that subconscious encyclopedia.
And here's the thing about your subconscious. It wants to bring you to healing your fears. So it's going to pull from all those symbols that are in your subconscious, and it's going to serve them up to you in this really wacky dream that you have to interpret. So context is important. The third context it might show up in is a mystical, kind of esoteric context. And by that I mean this mysterious unknowing. This is separate from religion. This is more the spiritual, mystical. This is that mysterious thing that we all tap into that we can't really explain. So it could be a mystical, esoteric meaning, which defies religious explanation or cultural explanation or anything like that.
So another one would be psychology, the collective unconscious. This is kind of a part that gets into our brains from our superconscious self, which is the part that is connected to kind of the whole of everything.
So a psychological interpretation of a dream tends to be more about the mental state, more about relationships, more about life. So that has to do with the brain and the matrix of the brain. So it could be coming from that context.
Or also about global consciousness or global awareness. Another really big one would be family meaning, any kind of a family symbology. Yes, any family symbology that you might have.
So, and then last one to consider context is your personal meaning. What is your personal experience with this dream symbol? How do you feel about it when you see this dream symbol? Example, do you have a pet snake and you love pet snakes, or you love spiders, or did you get bit by a spider and had an allergic reaction and almost died? That would be negative. Or you have a pet tarantula that you love. So you have to take into consideration your personal experience. It's not what it means in the dream Bibles, is the right interpretation. It is your personal context and experience and feeling about it at the end of the day that is the most valid.
Let's talk for a moment about the dream Bibles. The dream Bibles give you a general overview but you have to take all of these other pieces and parts into consideration. So if you're liking this, if you're loving this, drop a truth bomb in the comments. Make sure to hit that like button down below, whether it's over there or over there. I don't really know right now because I think we're flipped around.
If anybody's wondering what this little thing is that I keep popping, this is my little,
it's our
clicker. It clicks my thing that tells me where we are. Okay, so now let's get started into spider dream meaning. And I need to have 8 fingers. Spider dreams.
Okay. Don't pay attention to these. These aren't fingers.
Those are thumbs. I love you, Keanu, with your truth bombs. All right. So religious context with spiders, with spider dreams, there tends to be less negative connotations from a religious construct, context. But in the Native American tradition, which is very strong here in America, you will have spiders come up as a really positive symbol in dreams. So when you dream about a symbol, and you have some connection to Native American mythology, it might reflect back to grandmother spider, who was the bringer of who brought the sun to the people. She's the bringer of life. She's like the great mother, the great grandmother. So when you see a spider in that context, it might be a positive. But like I said, it depends on the feeling that you have in the dream. So it does symbolize like a great divine mother being in some religious constructs, mostly like a native or primal religions or primitive religious constructs. You're going to see more of the grandmother spider, the nurturer, the bringer, the weaver of life. Again, depending on the culture, a lot of cultures consider, like a Western culture will consider the spider creepy or scary or connected to Halloween or something like that. So you've got those things ingrained and programmed into your brain on how you're going to react to it. It might be creepy, it might be evil. In some cultures, seeing a spider in a dream is considered very, very lucky, like you're going to meet the man of your dreams and have this happy life. It really just depends.
Right.
It just depends. It's strange.
So let's get to this.
It's just tea, I promise.
Just tea?
It's tea. I'm drinking tea because I've got this like cough,
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
All right. So let's get to the spiritual meaning of spiders in dreams.
Yes.
This is where we get more mystical and esoteric. It may lead towards the mysterious, the weaver of stories.
I think usually I tend to go for the more mystical, esoteric meanings, and I tend to think that those have more validity because it's sort of universal consciousness, and we're all kind of tapped into that. So the mystical, more esoteric meaning of dreams, meaning of spiders and dreams, is more about your fate, your life path, your bigger picture moments. The spider might be there helping you weave the story. It might be telling you that it's time to be in charge of your own story. You are letting other people write your story. So start writing your own story in your own script. And I'm going to show you how to weave this intricate web that is your life. So it's also when you see a spider in a mystical, esoteric context, it could be that there's a mystery in your life you need to figure out, and the spider is here to help you figure out that mystery. Like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I don't know who I'm going to be, what my purpose is. Well, the spider is more that mystical, bigger picture, higher purpose symbol in the esoteric meaning. She's here to help you figure out what your meaning in the universe and the big picture is. Hit a like if that is all making sense to you. Kind of hit yes.
Hit that like button.
It's making sense.
Drop a truth bomb in the comments below if it's really resonating. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and click that bell to turn on notifications so that you get notified whenever we do awesome things.
So also in the esoteric meaning, it could be that you are on a path to figure out some hidden knowledge. So hidden knowledge it's a mystery. It's a puzzle to figure out. You may be on a journey that is on the spiritual quest. So the spider can have a very powerful interpretation in your dreams in that case. And it's not unusual to have two contexts crashing into each other. So you might have the cultural impulse that I'm afraid of the spider. It's creepy. It's scary. But on the other hand, you've got the mystical symbolism coming in, and they're kind of meeting each other in the middle. So it's important to step back from the fear and go, what is the spider really trying to tell me? Because sometimes the things that we are the most afraid of are the things we really need to look at. Are you afraid of your own life path? Are you afraid of following the thing that scares you the most that you need to do? Think about it. So now let's talk about spider symbolism from a psychology perspective. And here it's got kind of its own flavor, a little bit different.
So this is a little bit more on spider symbolism in dreams from the psychology perspective.
So usually in psychology, spiders in dreams have more to do with relationships.
Maybe it's a little sticky situation.
Right. You might be in like a sticky relationship that you feel trapped in because of the web, the web.
Because the web.
Or you might feel trapped. It could be a symbol of entrapment, either
you
by...
might feel like the fly.
Yeah, like the fly in the web.
Yeah.
So it depends on how you feel in the dream. Do you feel really, really trapped? Is there a web in the dream? Are you in the web? Are you literally in the web? It could mean that you are feeling trapped by your family's beliefs,
right.
By the beliefs of
friendships,
of a spouse or a partner, feel trapped by society's beliefs. It's about relationship in a psychology perspective
construct.
So you have to kind of look at, where am I feeling trapped in my life? So these are questions to ask when you're learning to interpret the dream about the spider. A very common dream is when you have spiders in your mouth. And this really freaks people out. So a very common spider dream is spiders in your mouth. You're eating spiders, or you've got them in your mouth. Again, this symbolizes you are taking control and basically eating the spider. Okay, so you're taking your control back.
Yes.
A spider bite is another common dream. So if you have a spider bite.
And this is in real life or in dreams.
Where the spider bite symbolizes, in psychology, remember we're talking about context, means an emotional wound, usually from someone close to you. Where bites from snakes mean something different. So don't get it twisted. Bites from spiders mean an emotional wound from somebody close to you, a friend or a family member. So it's like emotionally wounding you. That makes sense? All right. So then there's the personal context. For me, spiders aren't really scary because I used to read Miss Spider books to my kids. Right. So if the spiders are really fun for you, then it's likely that you're not going to have a scary dream about spiders and you're not going to hate them.
So if this is resonating with you and you're getting more and more open and aware in your understanding of spiders, then drop a truth bomb in the comments below and let us know.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a specific dream about spiders from a person that I know, a friend of mine, who is a writer. And this has to do with the spiders as the weaver of stories, and this is more a mystical interpretation. So my friend was a writer, and she was very afraid to get started writing her book. And so she was just kept having dreams about spiders over and over and over while she's trying to get started writing her book. And she was really afraid to be vulnerable, to show herself, to get her expression out into the world. So the spiders would keep coming to her in her dreams. And one night she found in the bottom of a swimming pool a bag full of spiders, and she was so afraid of it. And so she started investigating what it meant. So the spiders turned out to be the weaver of the stories, like we talked about. So she was afraid. The spiders kept getting more and more in her dreams. First it was one spider, then there were lots of spiders.
Now an entire bag of spiders.
So they were basically telling her, tell your story. Don't be afraid to face that fear of weaving your own story. So spiders were like coming at her hardcore. So she did a little exercise where she actually went to a pet store and found a little tarantula. And made friends with that tarantula and went, I'm ready to face my fears and write my book. And she has since written her book, which is really awesome. Not about spiders, but she got through it. So figuring out what those are, especially if that is persistent dream symbols. And she could not for the life of her connect that all of these spiders were connected to her creativity. So spiders very often have to do with your creative expression in the world. Whereas snakes have to do with a little different kind of expression. Spiders about creative expression, the expression of the mind. So there's another common spider dream that a friend of ours had where spiders are flying at you, maybe coming at you from the ceiling, like they're dropping down from the ceiling. This one's kind of fun. I like this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, again, it can symbolize fears of your own creativity, the weaver of your story. So it's sort of the same as my friend with the spiders in the bag. It's kind of the same context, but it's a fear of your own creativity. In this case, it was like spiders are flying at you, like saying, hey, start writing, start expressing, start creating. We're not going to stop bugging you bugging you, because dreams do work in puns. David loves that. I'm telling you to get on it and start writing your story. Mm-hmm. All right. Do you have a story to express? So if you're having a dream about a spider, ask yourself this question first. Do you have a story to express that you are not expressing? All right.
Yeah. So some people are already talking about the fear of spiders.
Okay.
So for those of you who have a fear of spiders, or a fear of snakes for that matter, and we'll get into that in a little bit, face the fear. Find a way to face the fear, because beyond that fear is a tremendous power just waiting for you.
And we're going to talk about that in the bonus tip.
In the bonus tip.
We're going to talk a little bit about the fear. So, and remember the fear. Okay, so spiders have to do with creativity, your own life path, being your true self, being aligned with your higher purpose. Yeah, that's the big fear of the spider that you're facing, because the spider's about destiny, the weaver of life and fate. So you can either master your fate and weave your own story, or get stuck in the web. So look at those things when you're interpreting your dreams. Give me some truth bombs, people. I love it. I'm loving seeing those little truth bombs pop up. All right, so now let's talk about snake dreams.
That's my snake.
I'm a snake. I'm a snake in the Chinese zodiac. David is a tiger.
Or a spider.
I'm not a spider. I'm a snake. I'm a wood snake in the Chinese zodiac. If you know your Chinese zodiac, put it in there. I want to know.
Yeah. Also, another anecdotal story. When I was about 3, I had a boa constrictor. And
why?
Well, it was my dad. My dad.
Okay. Your dad's twisted.
Yeah, he's twisted. But anyway, what happened was we had it was taken away from me because apparently it wanted to give me a hug when I was 3.
Yeah, that's not the kind of hug you want for snake. Okay.
So, yeah.
So let's get into snake dreams, okay? So this is where we get into more sticky religious stuff, because snake dreams tend to be a hotbed of in the religious world. So in the traditional, we're going to go from traditional religious, like Christian dream meaning, into the esoteric, and then we're going to lead you into Kundalini. So we're going from like super traditional into let's get jiggy with it. So traditional.
Oh, loving it.
Traditional religious context, the spiritual meaning of snakes in dreams can really vary on the religious context. But snake symbolism in dreams and Christian dream meaning, which is the one I see a lot of, like popping up on the internet, which is more fear-based, might be a warning. And this has lots of references to the Garden of Eden story. Deception, the snake in the grass. It symbolizes betrayal from a person that wants to harm you, or a person that is telling you lies, or a person that is deceiving you. So that's kind of the Christian dream meaning of seeing a snake in a dream. And that's not wrong. It just depends on what is your upbringing and your connection to the symbol.
And your construct. Okay, so these are all, again, subconscious constructs that your brain is using to feed information to you.
So if you're raised in a different religion, you're not going to dream about it and have a Christian dream meaning. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It just is different. So coming on a snake suddenly in life, and a lot of this is one we've gotten from people, they come on a snake suddenly in a dream, or they stumble on a snake as they're hiking.
Life. Right.
The symbol of that might mean, from this perspective, that you are going to all of a sudden be surprised by someone that is lying in your life or deceiving you. So it's sort of like a symbol to watch out for the person who doesn't have your best interest at heart, that is going to lie first and ask questions later, is jealous of you or wants to deceive you. A common dream is seeing a snake with multiple heads.
Which could be that many people or a group of people that are deceptive in your life.
Right. So that's kind of the traditional interpretation from like a Christian dream meaning.
And that is just one religious context or construct. There are so many different religions and so many different constructs. You just have to take a look at that encyclopedia and see what it means for you in that context.
So because I'm a biblical scholar also, I look at the stories of the Bible, and there are actually 2 different meanings of snakes in dreams, more than 2, but 2 that stand out in the Bible itself. So when you go to more of that, little bit farther in the Bible, you've got the story of Moses with the snake. Now, most people interpret this story totally wrong. So the story is the Israelites are walking through the desert. They're walking, and they all get bit by a bunch of snakes. Like everybody, there's this like mass snake biting festival that happens in the middle
Snake frenzy.
Yeah, and so they all get bit by snakes and they're going to die. So Moses asks God, and God says, just put the snake on the staff, make this bronze snake, and everybody needs to look at the snake, and they'll be instantly healed from their snake bite. I'm thinking, there's no UMC. I'm in the middle of the Israeli desert.
Might as well try
I might as well look at the snake, right?
What's it going to hurt?
So I said, I wasn't there. I'm just saying. So apparently a lot of them said, this is stupid, and they didn't. Baloney. They did not look at the snake, so they died of the snake bite. And those that looked at the snake
were
lived.
Instantly healed.
So this is probably not a literal story, okay? Because you're thinking this makes sense.
Probably allegory.
So from an esoteric Judeo-Christian, esoteric mysticism, esoteric Christian mysticism, or Judaic mysticism, this is what it means. Snakes symbolize unresolved emotions or fears. Snake bites symbolizes the results of not healing those emotions. This is what that story really means, boys and girls. So the cure is if you are sick emotionally, which means you have not looked at your fears and your emotions have bitten you, you look at your fears. You look at the snake. So the meaning of the story is they were all sick with their own emotional baggage, and they just needed to look at the snake, which means look at the snake, look at the fears. Well, that's really hard to do. It's easy to just look at the snake, which is why the story makes no sense. But most of those biblical stories are symbolic and metaphorical and allegorical. So if you look at the snake, that means I got to look at myself. And that's the scariest thing on the planet.
I got to look at that very same thing that I'm afraid of to gain the power from it.
Yes. So that is the true meaning of that. So look at the snake. Look at the fear. You're not looking at the snake. You're looking at the fear, because the snake symbolizes the fear.
So if this is making sense to you, drop a truth bomb down below. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that button to turn on notifications. Click that bell.
So this interpretation harkens back to older religions that had a different religious view of snakes in the area at the same time. So you've got two different perspectives that merge in the Bible stories. You've got the older stories, which originate from older religions, like the Egyptian religions, the Indian religions of India, like Hinduism, the Mesopotamian religions that had a totally different view of snakes. So the meaning of those snakes in those religions are about rebirth, healing, sexual energy. So once those stories kind of merged in the Bible, you see this gradual over time desexualizing of the symbol. So when monotheism came along, which is the belief in one God,
it took away the sexual power of these symbols.
So you've got this gradual over time desexualizing of the snake symbol, which actually was like your power, your energy to create, your ability to rebirth and to heal yourself. So you've got these two symbols that are conflicting. So now in our time frame, you've got these symbols kind of crashing in dream time. And people are really confused about it. So there's this fear mixed with this, there's this also this power here.
Intrigue, right?
Yeah. So I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I really love the resurgence of these kinds of symbols in people's dreams, because when you really break it down, you cannot get rid of the symbols. The symbols will create a way to come through your subconscious mind, however it is. So the construct of all of these different things and what they mean, they will surface again in your mind, even if they are completely wiped out in religious context or in social or cultural context. They will find a way to resurface.
So in opposition to the newer kind of Christian dream meaning, snake in old school, old religion is more likely to transform you than to destroy you, if you are brave enough to choose to look at the snake. This apparently is my snake right here in my little clicker. This doesn't, like I said, this doesn't mean a Christian dream interpretation is wrong. It just depends on your upbringing and your construct. So really, in a mystical, for me, it's a new way of being. It's a way of wisdom, a way of healing and personal transformation. That is what the snake means, old school. So snake dreaming in psychology, real quick. In psychology, the snake means it's a symbol of the unconscious sleeping mind. Well, the unconscious isn't really sleeping, but the symbol of the unconscious mind, a fear of the unknown, because we can't really see into the unconscious. So a common dream would be seeing a dead snake in a dream.
Ooh.
This is one we hear a lot, and that means that you have overcome a threat. You've killed that snake. So remember here, the snake represents the fear.
Right.
You've overcome it. It also means, if you want to get a little more Freudian, it means hidden passions. So if you see a snake, it might symbolize your hidden passions. It's very phallic, too, the symbol.
Right.
Phallic.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go through a couple of common snake dreams real quick. David's over here answering questions.
Yes.
And I see some of your snake dreams are popping up. I'm like, ooh, didn't think of that. Ooh, didn't think of that. We're going to answer some of those at the end. If you have a dream of one snake eating each other, like you see a snake eating the other, it could mean that you need to clean up your own mess that you made. So go clean your messes. If you have a dream of a snake with two heads, which is also a really weird common dream, I've never had this. It means that you're fighting each other. You're having an internal battle you need to look at. Or that you've got people fighting, you're fighting other people. You've got a battle going on the inside or a battle going on the outside. And it means that you need to look at either being a better team player with yourself or being a better team player with other people, or being the person who teaches those people how to be team players.
Or allowing yourself to receive the team.
Right. So there's some kind of thing that you can resolve with that dream, either within yourself or outside of yourself, either as the person who is the ringleader to help people, or you've got to look at your own stuff.
And then we're going to get into one of Indiana Jones' favorites, which would be the Pit of Snakes.
I know someone's had this dream that's watching.
So if anybody's had a dream of a pit of snakes, go ahead and hit a truth bomb down below.
You're falling in the pit of snakes, right? Indiana Jones style.
Pit of despair. Wait,
I can't do that right now because my throat's like trying to get over this cold.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like hogging back the tea. So pit of snakes. Okay, so falling into a pit of snakes basically means, remember, they all symbolize fears. Well, this is a lot of fears. It means you're feeling overwhelmed by something. ... You got to figure out what you're being overwhelmed by. Here are some possibilities. You might be feeling overwhelmed by your own power. You might be feeling overwhelmed by other people. One common interpretation is you feel that you are putting too much power in the opinions of other people. So you're letting yourself be falling into all of these other people's opinions and fears that aren't even your own fears. You're afraid that the lies that all of these people are telling about you are going to destroy your life, that are going to, it's a big group betrayal. So falling in the pit of snakes is definitely, you're being overwhelmed by something. So there's no one interpretation for the pit of snakes, but it is an overwhelming fear that you've got to look at.
And you've got to take that into the construct of the dream and the kind of, the construct of the dream, the whole meaning of the dream in a whole. I don't remember what the word is right now.
And David had it. You'll remember it in a second.
Yeah, I was overwhelmed.
He was overwhelmed by the pit of snakes. So his brain just fell into a pit of snakes right there. It was awesome. So also the family meaning and your personal meaning. Look at those. Do you have a pet snake? Or
did you?
So, and the reason I bring that up is because here's a dream that we interpreted for a friend of ours a while ago. So this friend of mine had a pet snake, and she loves snakes. She has this big old snake, and she loves this snake. It's like her pet. But her mom passed away about a year ago, and she's been missing her snake. So she had the dream, and she was feeling super sad by this dream, where she saw her snake on her bookshelf, and it wasn't the normal snake. It was like all fuzzy, like a bunny rabbit.
Like a fuzzy white snake.
Just like a long fuzzy white bunny rabbit snake. And she's like, what in the heck? So we took her into the dream, and it turns out that the fuzzy white was her mom's. Her mom had this jacket that she loved when she was a little girl. It was like a fake white, it was like that fake fur. It was all white, and she would just cuddle up in that in that jacket.
And it was a super warm feeling.
And she realized that the bookshelf she saw the snake on, where it was like her mom's books, and she was like, oh, it was my mom saying, just hug the snake and think of me. So it was just a really sweet, and then she got really emotional, and it was awesome. A sweet, is that an awesome dream or what?
Right.
So at first she was like, this dream, I love my snake, but the snake looked like this, and I didn't know what it meant, and I was really, really sad, and I just was crying, woke up crying, and I'm like, okay, let's figure it out.
Yeah.
So dreams can be just completely crazy like that, but if you stop and you look and you follow the emotion, follow the feeling, you might even have some kind of like awesome dream message from someone that loves you that's trying to reach out.
And that brings up another part, which is the dream incubation part, which is basically in your conscious state, going into a meditative state and reliving the dream and seeing if you can walk through it and figure out the meaning. That's one of the great ways to figure out the meaning of a dream.
He just gave you a bonus tip that wasn't even a bonus tip.
Bonus tip.
That was going to be the bonus tip, and so he just gave it to you anyway. Because he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Like that. He's a nice guy like that.
I am a nice guy like this.
He's a nice person. All right.
So if this is making sense to you, drop a truth bomb in the comments below. Make sure that you save all your questions for the end. We're going to have a live Q&A at the end of this, and then we'll go through some questions there.
Because we're live. Okay, so let's get into the mystical.
Boom, 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 boom. Love it. Love it.
I'm getting all atomic up in here. So let's go into my favorite, which is always the mystical, esoteric meaning of snake dreams.
Drop that mysticism, baby.
Drop into mysticism. I have my Halloween pants on today because they're fuzzy, and it just felt like...
And they're all witchy.
Well, yeah. So snake is your energy to create your life. It is your energy and your power. And we're going to get into the Kundalini in a second, so I'm just kind of prepping.
So another element here would be the snake shedding its skin, which is getting rid of the old masks into positive change.
So a common dream is coming on a snake that is shedding its skin. And it really depends on how you respond to the snake in your dream that is shedding its skin. So this shedding of the skin always means a positive change is coming in your life. You are getting ready to release the old and rebirth yourself. But again, you might be having two contexts collide where your Western context might be like, oh my gosh, there's a snake, I'm afraid. And the mystical is saying, no, it's time to get rid of that old baggage and get on to something new, which is also scary.
Yes.
So if you are in your dream and you are fighting a snake that is in the middle of shedding its skin, it means that you are getting in your own way, fighting against that positive change that is coming. You're scared of the change. You scared.
You scared of the change. You're scared of the change.
You need to face that fear.
Another one would be the dream of a snake coming up your leg.
And this is a dream that actually one of our
clients
our people had.
So the dream of the snake coming up the leg has a lot to do with overcoming sexual traumas and reintegrating that personal power.
And this particular person, of course, we have permission to share all these dreams. We don't go sharing secrets yet. But anyway, the snake, she was struggling with her own coming into her sexual energy again, and just had been given a whole lot of shame growing up around sexual energy. And so she was trying to heal from that. And so this giant snake was coming up her leg in her dream. And she was like, what in the heck? And it didn't scare her in the dream. It was like, scary because it felt really amazing, and it was like sending all these surges of power through her. And she was like, what is that? And we were like, well, that makes sense because you're healing from all of that trauma and realizing that it is okay and not to be ashamed, and it's showing that you can harness that sexual energy without shame. So many of these kinds of snake dreams can be very erotically charged. It's like, whoa. There's your energy coming to you.
If that is making sense to you and kind of blowing your mind right now, go ahead and drop another truth bomb in the comments, and be sure to like if you haven't yet, subscribe if you haven't yet, and hit that bell to turn notifications on so that you get notified whenever we do anything awesome.
So with that kind of like prep, we're going to bring you right into the Kundalini snake talk, because we get asked about that a lot. That dream with the snake coming up her leg has a lot to do with the Kundalini energy. And remember when we talked about that transition of religious belief, when you had the old religions that believed the snake was your energy and your sexual being and your power to create, merging into the Judeo-Christian meanings, which tended to powerfulize it. What is the word I'm looking for?
Take your power away.
Yeah. Dilute it. Dilute the power.
Yes,
There you go.
Let's go with that word. I was drawing a blank
So
too.
that goes back to the Kundalini, where it came from. So before we get into that, I want to bring up a point that the whole mystical, esoteric descriptions of dreams and interpretations of dreams tend to be the most valid. And in our current time frame, we have a massive shifting of belief systems, new ideas. We're looking at the old, we're looking at the new, we're looking at the future, and we're incorporating new symbols that are really old symbols, and they're all kind of like mixing together in a big cosmic bowl of dream interpretation.
We call that soup.
Right. So the brain itself is a neuroplastic thing. It changes, it incorporates symbols, it adopts images, it does all sorts of stuff we're not aware of.
And it fills in all the blanks.
So we have this collective unconscious that we all kind of tap into, whether we like it or not, or whether we know it or not, that informs that personal neuroplasticity of the brain.
Right.
And it's the collective consciousness neuroplasticity. So as we grow and evolve as a culture, as a people, as a globe, we feed all our symbols into that neuroplastic
As a
brain of the collective unconscious, and then it feeds it back to us in our dream times.
Right.
So one of the biggest issues that's coming up in our time frame is the remerging of the divine masculine and the divine feminine.
Not the wounded masculine and not the wounded feminine.
So we've suffered for many centuries with the wounded masculine that was overly aggressive, overly in your face, overly violent, and then the wounded feminine that was submissive and obedient and shutting out that fire. So now you've got this healing of both sides, and the masculine and the feminine are coming together in this healing event. But that takes a lot of, there's a lot of stuff that goes along the way that's not comfortable. We have to look at ourselves and our responsibility in it. So serpent symbolism in a new way is emerging, and we're looking at it not from our cultural or religious context, but from what's the bigger picture.
Now that things are coming around full circle, so that the divine feminine is healing the divine masculine.
Because ladies, we got this, ladies.
Yes, and those guys out there, they've really been waiting for the women to come into power so that they could balance again, because holding that weight of being this macho man is so heavy, so heavy.
So let's get into what the Kundalini is.
Yes.
Okay, so you've all seen the healing symbol in the medical field with the two snakes that go like this, ding, 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 and then they have little swan wings on the top. That is a symbol of the medical profession. It is the ancient symbol of the Kundalini. Ooh. So it goes back way, 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 way before the Bible, thousands and thousands of years, to the most ancient of religions. And what sensitives and mystics and gurus saw was this system of energy that runs through the body. The column that you see in the middle of that is the healing staff, and it's called the Sushumna, which is part of the Kundalini. We think of the Kundalini as the two snakes, but it's really three parts. So the Sushumna column represents your spinal column, the center of your energy on which the chakras sit. And the snakes represent the two lines of energy that run through the body and go all the way up and go through the third eye and look at each other. One of the snakes is the girl snake, and the other snake is the boy snake.
The girl is the Ida.
And the boy is the Pingala. And the girl snake originates from the root chakra on the left, because the left is feminine. The boy snake originates from the right root chakra. And they just kind of go around. And they're supposed to be equal in energy. It's your root sexual energy that comes up through here. Mm-hmm. So if that makes sense to you, hit the like button.
And drop a truth bomb.
That's a lot of people get confused about what is Kundalini Awakening and is it scary? There's a big myth out there that it's going to make your head explode if the Kundalini rises too fast.
Or if you do it wrong.
It's not.
No.
And understand, too, that some of those old warnings, like if it goes too fast, your head's going to explode, were put in place by the old teachers and the old shamans and the old mystics that were trying to keep their students in line from trying to learn too fast without doing the steps they needed to overcome their own fears. So you'll see a lot of these old warnings that were put in place for that reason, and that's one of them. The truth is, your body is not going to, and your spirit is not going to give you more than you can handle. Right? Makes sense? So when Kundalini awakening happens, what's happening is your energy is clearing, you're experiencing a spiritual awakening, the energy is rising. It just might feel a little bit uncomfortable because you're shifting out of some old patterns, like the snake shedding its skin and growing a new self, a new skin. Does that make sense? It's never going to be anything more than you can handle, I promise. So that is a little quickie on the Kundalini so that you can understand it a little bit better.
So once again, you will never be overwhelmed with more than you can actually handle. So if this is making sense to you, drop a truth bomb in the comments.
Awesome. All right. Christy's out. Christy, we love you. And we will talk to you tomorrow or sometime when we see you. All right. So it's time for the bonus tip. You made it this far. It's time for the bonus tip. Let's get on it. Okay. So the bonus trip. Floor, we'll see you soon. All right. So those of you that are still online, we're going to do the crystal giveaway in about 5 minutes here. So right after the bonus tip, we're going to do the crystal giveaway. So hang out for you lucky winners. So the bonus tip is about animal medicine. So we're going to shift from Hinduism and Kundalini
and psychology,
and we're going to go into Native American wisdom around animal medicine. So in your dreams or in your life, in the Native American shamanistic tradition,
each animal would bring you a certain type of medicine, a certain type of power. And if you could actually, and this comes a lot from Native American and shamanism in general, finding your power and seeing what the animal is coming to communicate with you.
Right. So in Native American mysticism, Native American shamanism, your fear is the doorway to your power.
Yes.
So the animal is coming to you to challenge your fear. It's challenging your belief system about yourself. It's challenging, are you afraid of your power? Are you afraid of this power? And if you can look past the power, then
if you can look past the fear
and harness the power, then you will have earned the right to use that animal medicine. And so spiders represent air medicine in Native American tradition. So air medicine symbolizes messages from spirit, insects specifically. Birds also represent messages from spirit. So birds and insects are both air medicine, whereas the snake is more of the body. The spider is more of the mind. What they symbolize, you have to look at what they're bringing you as a creature. So insects have this external skeleton, which makes them very powerful for as little as they are and very adaptable to their environment. So insect medicine, spider medicine might be telling you you're more adaptable and strong. You have much more armor than you think you do.
Right. So another one would be, because they are very small, insects are very small, they have access to places that are inaccessible to others. And this is another thing too, because of the spider weaving, you've got the ability to use what you have in more creative ways than you thought possible.
So remember, the spider's really about your creativity and your fear of your creativity when it comes down to it. So the spider, in animal medicine and Native American, just like in some of the other traditions, sort of has a universal theme about be persistent, keep weaving your story, do a little bit at a time, because you got to weave that web a little bit at a time, but you're going to step back and see this gorgeous, lacy, beautiful web when you're done. But be persistent, keep at it. When you're coming against a monumental task, it's just one piece at a time. Keep doing it, keep doing it. It's about being persistent. You're tougher than you think, and you keep doing it.
And you're also more adaptable and more wise than you think.
Right. So that in the Native American tradition would be what spider medicine is trying to tell you. So if a spider bites you in Native American tradition, which is different from if it bites you and it's an emotional wound, like in the psychology construct, if you get bit here, it's because can you handle that bite? Can you overcome the medicine or the poison and fight through the fear? Then you've earned it.
In animal medicine, any kind of a bite is the spider or the animal challenging you to see if you are powerful enough, if you are strong enough to face the fear and to integrate the medicine.
Right. So snake medicine is earth medicine, because all the Native American have to do with an element. So
Right.
with these two, it's air and earth. So earth is very grounded. It's very connected to the earth. Its adaptability is what the snake brings you in this tradition, because the snake is cold-blooded. It's related to like the oldest creatures on the planet, the dinosaurs. It's been around a long, long time. It's able to adapt to changes in the environment.
And to survive and to evolve.
Yeah, so it sheds its skin. There's a change. We're going to move from this age to that age. I just got to shed my skin and rebirth myself. Not a problem. So it's about adapting to your environment, taking in the positive and the negative, and knowing that you can merge and blend and adapt to your surroundings. You're stronger and more adaptable than you think.
Instead of allowing yourself to become overwhelmed.
So it's time to leave that old skin behind and go into the new phase. So that's more the traditional interpretation of the snake medicine.
Which also brings us into dancing the animal, which is basically it's a native tradition where you become the animal to integrate that medicine. You imagine what that animal would go through life experiencing, how it would integrate or interact with the world around it. So dancing the animal is kind of integrating and understanding the medicine of the animal by becoming the animal. That's why when you see different native traditions, they don the guise of the animal, or they put on the skin of the animal, or whatever it is. So that's dancing the animal.
So that's a way to the way that you can do that without having to get actual stuff is just imagine that animal that's coming to see you and kind of step into that animal, and what do you feel like?
Right.
What is your magic? How would you approach the situation if you were a snake,
Right.
if you were a spider? How do I, ask that? In animal medicine, in traditional animal medicine, you would ask that power animal, basically, your animal guide, to show you how to tackle the situation. So that would be the dancing the animal. You're meditating with the animal as if you were that animal.
Right. So you're looking through the eyes of that animal. You're experiencing life with the skin of that animal, with the how you navigate the world as that animal. So if you're liking this, and if you're loving this, hit that like button below and drop a truth bomb in the comments.
All right, let's get to some questions before we give the crystal giveaway.
All right, so let's go to questions first. Black cat would jump on my back with its claws out and scratching down my back. Ooh.
So what was the question?
Okay, so the question is, not snake or spider relevant, but used to have a recurring dream that a black cat would jump on my back with its claws out and scratch down my back. I'd wake up having back spasms. So this has to do more with integrating the cat medicine.
It depends. Also, it depends on the context that you're having the dream,
Right.
how you felt about it. In a very literal way, it could be look at issues with the back. The cat might be trying to bring your attention to something that has to do with your back, either a back issue, like your physical stuff you need to look at. You need to start working and strengthening that part of your body. It can also be the back symbolizes issues you don't want to look at. So you put them behind you. So if the cat is scratching, it might be, let's look at this. Hey, you're not looking at this. Hey, it's kind of like the spiders that keep biting you in the dream. When you have an animal scratching or kind of getting your attention in the dream, pay attention to the body part it's scratching, or if you're hiding something back there, all of that kind of stuff. So that's one interpretation of it. Obviously, we'd have to talk to you in person to get deeper, but that's a little place to start. What's another one?
Okay, so another one would be not a spider biting in a dream, but have woken up in the morning and discovered a bite from a spider. Does that hold any meaning, or just my own bad luck?
Well, it could just literally be a spider biting you in the night.
Right.
Or it just depends on how you felt about it when you woke up. Did you have some emotion around it? So it's more about looking how you feel about the bite when it happened. Did you attach an emotion to it? Anything that it evokes is worth looking at.
Right. So look at what it triggers. Look at what that bite triggers for you. So another one here is, what about spiders crawling out of my mouth?
Oh, okay. Spiders crawling out of your mouth.
And I think you guys mentioned it. Can we change dream meanings by growth? Is an open yard like a pit of snakes?
Yeah, you can definitely change meanings by growth, because your contexts for dreams change over time with your spiritual growth and your spiritual learning. Your brain is constantly adapting new symbols and new meanings, so that something might mean something one time in your life and mean something at a different time of your life.
depending on the age context and where you're at in your evolution.
So we gave a meaning of spiders in the mouth earlier in the live, but if they're coming out of your mouth, sometimes that means you're spitting out the stories of other people. You're rejecting those stories that people have put on you, because the story, this spider can represent the weaver of the stories or your life path. So the life path that other people had in mind for you that thought was best for you, you may be just rejecting and giving it back to them.
Right. So basically the programming of other people that have been put in your brain being spit out.
So if that makes sense.
Yes. So let's see. If I've had both spiders and snakes, including a dead snake, what could that mean?
Say that again?
If I've had both spiders and snakes, including a dead snake, what could that mean?
In the same dream?
No, it's a different...
different dreams. Well, a dead snake, usually when you come upon a dead snake, it means that you have overcome that fear. So finding a dead snake is you're about to conquer that fear or overcome something. It's not really necessarily a bad thing snakes represent. It depends on how you feel about the snake, again, and your context.
Okay, so this one is for Chrissy Peterson. This is dreams about crystals and learning new crystals and buying them all.
That's not about snakes. That's from Chrissy Peterson? I thought she was...
Yeah. Well, that's one of the ones.
Got it. Dreams
because she's not here.
Got it.
Courtney's bringing it up. So dreams about crystals and new crystals and buying them all is basically an integration dream where she's taking the awareness, the understanding, and the meaning of all the crystals and the information of the crystals and actually considering them valuable for herself.
That's sort of about expanding knowledge.
Right.
Because crystals represent amplification.
Okay, so I've had a recurring one.
Go ahead. Reoccurring. We only have time for one more question before the crystal giveaway.
Reoccurring one about this woman bringing me a huge snake and laying it on me was very comforting, almost sensual. What could this be?
Oh, that's beautiful. That's a very positive dream. The woman is important bringing you the snake. She symbolizes the great mother, or bringing you your sexual energy and your sexual power as a woman. Because she's a woman, she's handing that torch of your sexual energy from you, from mother to daughter, from crone to mother to maiden. It's a very goddessy kind of dream where you're in charge of your own sexual energy in your life. So that's a great, and because she's laying it on your stomach, like the dream about with the girl with the snake going up her leg, it's very similar, where you're ready to harness that without shame, without guilt, without all of that, harnessing your sexual energy as a woman. So that's a very important dream in the divine masculine, divine feminine shift that we're going through, like we talked about earlier. Make sense? I like that one. Because I'm a snake. I told everybody I'm a snake. Okay, one more. We're going to squeeze it in, then we got to...
Okay, we got one more.
We got about 2 minutes
hilarious
left.
one. Let's see. Had a dream about my soul family having a performance night, but then we were all sitting on toilets and flying around pants down.
Well, anytime you have toilets in a dream, you're literally getting rid of your stuff.
Right.
It's an elimination of belief systems, of old stuff you don't need, all of that. So I'm giving David a number off camera, and he's going to count up that number to see whose comment is that number.
Okay, we got the number. It's in my head.
Okay, so we're counting up the comments, and whoever is that number comment, you are the winner of the crystal giveaway. I'm so excited.
Me!
What?
Just kidding.
You don't count.
I can't count. So it's got to be somebody else. I won my own crystals. Okay, so we are looking at Adriana Torres. Adriana Torres, you are the winner of our crystal giveaway.
You won all this stuff.
That's awesome.
I can't really show you, but you'll get it in the mail. So DM us with your information, Adriana.
Or PM, or
PM,
whichever, whatever.
PM, DM, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And we've got about 1 minute more. Make sure you get us your address so we can send you your crystals.
Yes.
And get that free course that we talked about at the beginning. Just like click in there, get your course.
We'll put it in the description down below.
Follow us on all the social medias and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the like button.
Click that bell to turn notifications on.
Be sure to comment any more truth bomb moments you had and send us your dreams. And we will see you in the video coming out on Tuesday.
Yes, brand new videos every Tuesday.
Yes.
Check it out, subscribe, like, comment, all that other good stuff, and
we're so excited, you guys. We had so much fun. Give us a thumbs up, a truth bomb if you had a blast. We love being here with you guys. So much fun. so much fun. We love your dreams. We love you. And you guys have a really great weekend.
Oh, awesome. In the movie theater now. What? Chelsea, not in the movie theater.
You're going to get in trouble. You're in the movies. We won't tell.
Okay. So drop another truth bomb down below and like, comment, subscribe, all that other good stuff. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and be sure to watch the replay. Tell all your friends, they can go watch the replay.
Adriana, get us your address, and we'll get this crystal package out to you right away so you can get charged
up.
So
hit us up on any of your social media at Zen Rose Garden, and
that's it.
We will catch you on the flip side.
We're out.
Boom.
Peace.
Thank you guys again for joining us. Love it.